Welcome, everybody. Nice to smell you. Let me start with a little story. When he was still alive, my dad was very keen on saving money. Some may have called him cheap. So one day when I was still a little boy, I said, "Dad, I need $50 from you." And he said, "$20? Why in the world would you need $10 from me?" Let me tell you that same story again. So one day I asked my dad, "Dad, I need $50 from you." And he said, "$20? Why in the world would you need $10 from me?" Bear with me, I need to tell you the story one more time, even if it makes no sense. So one day I asked my dad, "Dad, I need $50 from you." And he said, "$20? Why in the world would you need $10? Interesting. What just happened here? I told the same story 3 times, and the first time everybody was laughing, the second time were like weirded out chuckles, and the third time was like, "Dude, we know the story." And that's perfectly normal. The only thing I'm wondering is, why do we stop laughing about something we already heard, and we don't stop crying or complaining about things we hear over and over again? It's weird, isn't it? So my talk today is going to be about technology and optimism, and why maybe we could altogether stop complaining and crying about things we know and start getting active and start investing and promoting the things that will take us and the world out of misery. So my name is Willy Kramer, and I'm a futurist, and I'm an optimist. Welcome to my talk. When we look at the world today, and everything that's wrong with it, not just today, but throughout existence, things have been wrong. And most of what has been wrong, at the core of the problem, has to do with some form of scarcity. Something is scarce, something is missing, something is not enough. And you can take all of the world's examples. For example, hunger. Why is there so much hunger in the world? Because there's a scarcity of food. There's a scarcity of distribution of food. Why is there so much crime and poverty and death and disease? Because something is missing. Medicine is missing. Scarcity of education or of possibilities, of chances for people to get out of it. Why is there so many psychological problems, burnout, depression in our society? It's a scarcity, it's a lack of home, of love, of warmth, of community, and maybe of work that fulfills us. So we know this, but sometimes we forget that scarcity, and it's even in the word, scarcity, scare. A scare happens when we don't have enough, when our basic unit of the Maslow pyramid, if you know that, isn't fulfilled, then we get existential threat. We're not on the way to become happy. We're just always trying to fulfill those needs. And if scarcity is the problem, then of course the solution to the problem should be abundance. Enough. Enough to get by, enough to live, enough to strive, enough to feel happy. And not just for humans, enough for our whole ecosystem, for animals, for mountains and rivers, and us as a society. I want to talk to you about something that will give us abundance. But I need you to do something for me. I need you to switch off that part of your brain that doesn't realize what could happen and always tells you what is and how it should be, and what people say it can't be in a different way. I need you to switch that off. I need you to concentrate with me on the frequency, how we could form and shape our world, what could be possible. I need you all to be optimists right now. Can you feel it? This room just became an idealistic, optimistic think tank. This is the way change happens. I love it. So let's go. How do we create abundance? What do we do? First of all, we have to see, why does scarcity exist in the world? Why? There always seems to be not enough of something. Why is that? And there's a few reasons for it. First of all, natural resources are limited. And the way our society and our economy works is that we take resources from the earth, and it gets more and more expensive to get them, and conflicts happen because of that. Wars happen. People die because, we need the oil, or we need the gas, or we need whatever, to go on with our society. And so that is one of the key factors why sometimes there is not enough. And it's also about the distribution. Maybe there is enough wheat or rice or water, but maybe we don't distribute it as well. And not everybody has access to it. The other problem is that our economy, our capitalistic economy, needs a form of scarcity to work. If everything was abundant, then the old game of supply and demand wouldn't work. Things wouldn't have value. My car is only valuable this much, if it's, some expensive car, because not everybody has it and not everybody can afford it. It's something special. It has a value. It's not abundant. It's scarce. So there's maybe, 10 Volkswagen on the street and one BMW Model 6, and that gives it value. That's the problem with capitalism. It has good things, but it also has bad things. It keeps things from getting to people because they have to have their value. But the most important reason is, I don't want to blame it on society or on how the economy works. It's us. We have been trained and we have been indoctrined and we have been suggested that that's the way it works. Don't question it too much. Don't think about why it is that way. We can't feed everybody. We can't give everybody what he or she needs. We can't keep all the animals from dying. We just can't. That's the way it works. Continue. Do your work. And I think especially that point we can all change. So don't get pessimistic. Stay with me. Stay optimistic and try to blend out the things you've been told. Because I'm going to show you one possible model, how we could overcome all of this. Because there's a lot wrong with this model, and I think we have to make it better. For the first time in human history, we are at a crucial point of change concerning technology. It used to be that technological progress came about and nobody knew where it would go. When the light bulb was invented, nobody knew 2 months before, soon there's going to be a light bulb. It was developed. Somebody had the vision, and then it spread throughout the world. Same with the car, same with the airplane, same with all technological progress. For the first time in history, we're at a point where we can abstract to where this will all lead. We know what's coming in the near future. We don't know where it's going in the far future, 200 years from now, but we can abstract where it's going. And the difference to 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, is that this all is not science fiction anymore. It's science reality. It's happening as we speak. And what I'm going to tell you about is the rise of the so-called disruptive technologies. It's different technologies that have emerged throughout the last 25, 10, 15, 5 years and are starting to exponentially progress right now as we speak. And it's not just one, it's not just two. It's maybe 10 or 20 different technologies. And the most important ones, of course, are renewable energies, nanotechnology, additive manufacturing, also called 3D printing sometimes, smart computer algorithms, including big data and artificial intelligence, and robotics. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you how my vision is. I didn't invent these technologies. I just, I try to put them into perspective and see what the symbiosis of all these technologies might look like and how it will lead to different kinds of abundance for all of us. First, we have energy abundance. Also, for the first time in human history, we're stopping to take things out of the ground and processing them and making energy through, nuclear plants or oil plants, gas plants, and so on. We're starting to harness the one big energy source right above our heads that has always been there for 1 billion years. And we are now at the point where we can do it cheaply and effectively. And the sun and solar energies and similar energies, wind and thermal energy is going to replace all kind of energy forms we have right now. And it's not limited. It's not a limited resource. It's free. It will burn till infinity, or at least until all of us are gone. And this will lead to energy abundance. There will most probably be less wars and conflicts and costs and struggle to get this energy, to make things happen and to, transform the world because it's free and it's there. The next important kind of abundance, away from the scarcity we have right now, is health abundance. There are a lot of disruptive technologies on the sector of health, and the way we deal with health and disease is going to change dramatically within the next 10 or 15 years. And the thing is that I mentioned nanotechnology earlier, and our computer processors are reaching a point and within the next 10 years perhaps, where they can't get any smaller. Some of you might know Moore's Law, and Moore's Law has been effective and true for the last 50 or 60 years, that the computer processors are getting half the size, half the cost, and double as effective every 18 months or so. And at some point they will be just as small as blood cells. And we will inject them into our body, and for some people this might be a scare or fear, something they don't want to, but think of the bright side. We will have health mechanisms in our body that update themselves automatically. We won't even realize what's happening. They will scan our whole system for a potential disease, for an allergy, for the early stage of cancer, or AIDS, or some heart-related disease. They will transform this into healing us from the inside. Download medical data from some server, upload our data to some server. For me, that's one of the most significant things I've ever heard, and I hope we will overcome all these diseases, not just us in the first world, but everyone. These things will be as cheap as, as chocolate someday. So the next kind of abundance is obviously food abundance. What's happening to our food? We hear a lot of stories about, Monsanto and things being regulated, and people don't have enough food. We know this. We know this since a long time. We know the third world is struggling, and we're trying to help. We're trying to show empathy. We're trying to maybe donate money and hope for the best. Hopefully the money will get them somewhere, but how do we deal with it? Technology might be the answer, because there's a lot happening. There's vertical farming programs where you can harvest much more food on a very tiny area, and you don't do it with earth, you do it with special liquids and water, and they can grow faster and they're more nutritious, and that's the first step. The second step is we are actually right now able to 3D print food. It's the first step. We're 3D printing food. We have not many, nutritious ingredients, and we put them into kind of a box, and we print cake or cookies or whatever. At some point, this will be very exaggerated. Will be much further. And so, what will happen if every village or every house in the whole world has a 3D food printer and prints bread or whatever, or fruit or whatever they need, whatever form of nutrition we will be able to produce. If it's not the nutrition we know today, maybe it's something like in Back to the Future, some pill that can be printed remotely, that has all the nutritions you need for the day, that has all the vitamins, that is clean, that is not corrupted in some way, that is just, keeps people alive. The thought that comes to mind is maybe at some point we will open our browser and see all the food printers in the world and say, okay, this village obviously doesn't have enough of nutrition A, so I just donate nutrition A to this village and tell a few friends, and within a couple of minutes their printer is full again, and we can see that they can feed their people, and maybe we have videos of the people eating there, so we know what's happening. We know where to engage. Maybe it's going to be a system of people supplying each other with nutrition, with food, not just in potential, but for real. So I can't go into all of these subjects detailed, because every one of these points is worth discussing and reading for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I can just urge you to watch TED Talks, to read books about it. And what I'm trying to do is just give you a brief overview. The next one is water abundance. Water, one of the most important elements of life. Right now we have about 326 million trillion liters of water on this planet. And the amount that we can actually drink is less than half of 1%. That's the water we have to drink. And there have been various kinds of ways to transform seawater or salt water to drink water, purification plants. These purification plants have been very expensive to set up and to operate, and it's been a tremendously cost-ineffective way to produce this clean water. But this too will change with technology. We will get better filters and better plants and better ways to purify this water and supply people with clean drinking water. So if that's not good news, I really don't know what as an optimist. The next one is abundance of free time. We heard in Olivier's talk about about what people are going to do when they have to work less. And up to now, it's been, in the last 30 or 40 years, even since the industrialization 150 years ago, it's been a constant process of people being replaced by machines or stuff like that. And along the way, new jobs emerged. Right now, we're at a point where every single job that is being done can potentially be replaced by a smart algorithm or a robot within the next 20, 30, 40 years. It's not just factory workers, bus drivers, or just kind of monotonous jobs. We're talking about lawyers, we're talking about doctors, teachers, high-tech people, IT people. All of these jobs can and will be definitely replaced by robots, machines, and algorithms. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of how complex these programs get. So what's going to happen? Will we have something to do? Will we work for fun, for the joy of it? Most probably we won't have to work, and we'll get to the point where we can choose what to do. We have free time. We can concentrate on things that matter to us, that we love, do things for others, do things for the ecosystem, do things for ourselves. So there's going to be an abundance of free time. Yay! And the last one I'm going to talk about is material abundance. There's a scarcity of goods and materials in the world. Not everybody can afford, gadgets or housing, boats, cars, medication, whatever kind of material good you need, because of the supply and demand. There's not enough for everybody to go around, we might think. So coming back to the additive manufacturing, 3D printing, we are at the verge of a new 3D printing age. And we will have, similar to what I talked about with food, boxes or centers in our homes or in our town that can basically produce everything. Anything you need, things will just materialize in front of you, like in the old fairy tales, like in old religious or old stories from 1,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago. Things will just materialize, like in heaven. This is becoming a reality. You push a button, you look for a model or whatever you want, and things will just 3D print in front of you. And when you don't need them anymore, there won't be any junk. You will just put it back into some other box, it will dematerialize, and we will have the stuff to make new things. We won't need factories anymore. We won't need, ships or trucks to transport those goods. We won't need clerks or salesmen to have them in a store, wait for somebody to come by and say, not a lot happening today. We will just materialize those things. And I think you can imagine what this will do to our economy, to our life as a species and for the ecosystem. It will be just an amazing change. It will be simply amazing. So why does all of this matter? That's the point. Why do we need to talk about what may be coming, what is already being developed? Why can't we just, go step by step and see where it goes? The truth is, it can go both ways. I'm an optimist, and there may be a pessimist among you, and this person could say, robots will destroy us, we will become slaves, there's going to be terminators, there's going to be weird boxes, nanotechnology in our bodies, we won't know what we are, weird form of transhumans, war, everything can happen. But since we all have our thinking caps on and are on an optimistic frequency, the thing is, it's like with the glass of water. Some say half empty, some say half full. And it's neither nor. It's what you see in it. And the same model we can put onto our future. It won't just happen. It won't just develop. We will create our future. We will decide how we use these new, powerful, disruptive technologies. We will choose how to adapt to them and what to promote and how to use them. And that will give us the option to transform our world into a better place. Because we have to be conscious of the fact that this could be the biggest chance we ever had in history. I hope that you will give this vision of an E-topia, this is how I call it, a utopia with an E at the beginning, which is for not just for electronic, but for technology, and this tiny little link, this nugget we've been missing all along, which is now exponentially developing, and has the ability to bring us forth into a new age of abundance, optimism, and oneness for all. Thank you very much.